sign in as you come in there by the stand with the hand sanitizer, please.
Thank you. No, there's one that's not.
I didn't know.
All right, you're all set now, Bob.
Thank you, Heather. So welcome everybody to the August 4th zoning board of appeals meeting. We'll have a few things that we start out with. I'll give a few instructions on how we roll through this and then we'll get going. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So some basic housekeeping things. We have emergency exits on the outside the atrium here. There's ones on exact opposite the doors here. There's also the ones that most of you probably came in on either side of the main meeting hall here. When we get to the point where we're going to call you up, I'm going to ask every one of you to state your name and address for the record clearly into the microphone so we can hear you and it can be recorded. And also, make sure that you speak clearly so we can hear you. We'll be asking a lot of questions. I'll give a little more detail in a minute.
There's a sign-in sheet just as you're passing right there.
Perfect. First, I'd like to do the roll call. So Robert Peckham, present. Beth Mothsworth,
Here.
John Migliorini,
Here.
Christian Chamberlain,
Here.
Heather Robinson,
Here.
Tim Harrington,
Present.
Aaron Lehman.
Present.
Great. Can I get a motion for the minutes for last month?
Mr. Chairman, in regards to the approval minutes for July 6th, I move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Aaron. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. Thank you. What do we want to do here? So, as I said, I'll call you up, ask you to speak your name and address loud and clear in the microphone. We are going to ask a bunch of questions. These questions are typically pretty simple. When the questions are done, we'll also ask if there's any questions from the audience. You're welcome to come up and speak if you have something or a comment or question you have. Afterwards, we will take a vote to see if we pass or deny the variance. It has to be a majority. So if 4 people approve it, then it is passed. And if we don't get 4 people to approve it, then it would be declined. If there's any questions on your specific variance, we can answer it while you're here. With that, I would like to start out by calling application 2022-042 by Chase Impressions for 50 Strawberry Hill Road. Welcome. Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Brent Ayers, the owner at 50 Strawberry Hill Road.
Thank you for coming in today. Who has this? Oh, I have this. So I'd like to start out and just give us a little bit of a overview of what you're doing. It sounds like you're putting a
Yeah, just a little roof over the front door. With the rain and stuff, there's not much of a eave, so it gets a lot of rain when you're trying to enter. It's going to be 8 foot wide, 5 foot out, and just soffit, sided, and roofed.
So nothing super fancy, but just very functional. It'll look nice on the house.
You got it.
And that's your main entrance to the house?
Correct.
And I drove by a few times. The house looks very nice. It looks
Thank
like
you.
you've done some upgrades over time.
Yes, the siding, all new windows, so yes.
It looks sharp.
Thank you.
Good work on that. Are there any questions for the applicant? Well, this might be easy because we all think it looks good. But,
Beautiful.
so with that, because I guess I have to motion. I would like to motion. I did forget how to do it. I'm totally out of whack here. Sometimes the brain doesn't always work. So with that, with regards to application ZBA 2022-042 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered, oh, I did forget something. Are there any questions or comments from members of the audience? Yeah, sometimes you just have a day.
Heather, are there any virtual?
I have no one online.
Oh, okay, that makes it easy. So I will start that again. With regards to application ZBA 2022-042 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The addition of the portico will add an appealing architectural change to the property and will have no undesirable change to the neighborhood. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. In order to create the desired look and coverage of the property, of the entrance to the property, the homeowner will need to make this specific change. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The only effect anticipated is the beautification of the property, and since the scope is small, it should have no other environmental issues. The difficulty related to the variance was not self-created, as the house was purchased and the offset line is very close to the front of the structure. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
That's seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So the motion carries.
Thank you.
And it does look beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Heather, do I have to mention the one that has withdrawn?
No, you do not.
Well, I should have mentioned it. Application 2022-048 Benjamin Skomowski. I hope I said it right.
You didn't. Extra vowel, but close enough.
I didn't. Skomowski.
Skomsky, yeah,
Thank you. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Welcome. please.
Thank you. I live at 16 Long Branch Drive, and the paperwork I put before you guys is for a shed. The zoning allows for 192 square feet. The interior of the shed will end up being, I think, 196 square feet. The real addition that goes over is the front porch, so to speak, of the shed. We have a southern exposure of our backyard, and there's just not a lot of shade back there. Mr. Black knows he's my neighbor, so yeah, just hoping to get that done so that we have a nice spot in the backyard right by the garden where we can have all of our lawn equipment and stuff that goes along with that.
Great. Mr. Harrington, you have any?
So Ben, when we spoke, you shared some more things. I think you covered most of it. But how tall is it going to be, and what's unique? What is unique other than the overhang and the porch portion?
As far as what
Design of the shed?
Oh, the design itself,
Pretty tall.
yeah. So I think with the 8x12 or 8x12 trusses, I think it turns out to be about 13. I'd have to look at my drawing. I don't have it.
13.3 in the.
Yeah.
Is that a style choice, function choice? Will you turn it into storage on a second level?
Aesthetic,
just
I thought that having the slope kind of similar to what the house is, that it would blend in a little bit better. I didn't want to create, hopefully what's not an eyesore.
Mhm. Is it going to be sided, or
Yeah, siding.
is it going to be the same color as the
Yeah,
house? Okay.
yeah, as best as we can. The house was built in 2004, so, but we actually did have some siding damaged, and the folks that replaced it did a nice job matching, and I have a sense of what that color is.
Will you be doing this yourself? That's how it's like a sketch.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you plan on running any electricity or plumbing?
Electricity, yes.
Okay.
No plumbing.
Fine, okay.
Just for lighting, or are you going to use it for a workshop as well? Or?
Lighting, charging, the batteries for the electric, weed whacker, so on and so forth, stuff of that nature.
Will you be constructing it on a wood floor or a concrete pad?
Concrete pad.
Concrete pad.
Any other questions up here?
None for me.
Fun for me.
Are there any questions from members of the audience? Nope, that's great. With that, we can close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-48 for an area variance I move to approve as follows, whereas the zoning board has one, duly advertised and held a public hearing, two, has considered all relevant information, three, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. One, the variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. Shed itself is only 6 feet larger than code, making it a shed size that fits the neighborhood. The porch will also increase curb appeal. Two, the variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternative, but the intent of the covered porch portion of this shed will function as shade in a yard where there is insufficient cover from direct sun. Three, the variance request is not substantial because the shed itself is very close to code dimensions. Four, the variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. Five, the difficulty related to the variance was self-created, but the choice to add square footage for an active porch for sun cover makes the shed even more useful and attractive. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Christian. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carries.
All right, thank
Granted.
you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Good luck.
evening.
Good night.
See ya.
Have a good evening. Okay. Next, we would like to call up 2022-049, Yuri Neverenko. Welcome. This is for 275 Martin Road.
Afternoon.
Good
My name
afternoon.
is Yuri Neverenko, living at 275 Martin Road,
Welcome.
and thank you. Asking to have a permit to build, not to build, but to replace my old shed. When we bought the property, it was there, it's a 30 by 30, and I would like to replace with 30 by 40. And that shed is falling apart and previous owner was not taking care of it, and it's just like animals living there, and it just like eyesore over there. And we have that driveway for the neighbors. They are driving by that all the time, and we would like to improve our property and have that shed for storage, like to put a lawnmower. And I'm the beekeeper, so some bee stuff over there,
Oh, interesting.
Yep, so just to improve the property.
Do you currently store stuff in the existing?
I did not knock it down. It's just falling apart. Some of the lawnmower over there, and
Okay.
some tiller, but it's no walls and. it just-
Can you describe the building that you're gonna be replacing it with? Like what type of material
It's
it's made out of?
I'm planning to put a pole barn
Pole barn, okay.
and a 6x6 poles, and the sheet metal all around, the brown 10-ish color on the side walls and the brown color on the roof.
I noticed there's two parcels here. So you're the parcel that's attached to this, I assume.
Yes.
And why are they separated, out of curiosity?
That's what we bought it.
Okay.
That's what we bought it, and that's what it was.
Was this property the one that had all the logs removed from it?
No, we never did it. We bought it in 2011, I believe.
Okay. That's further down. Further down? One spot. Okay.
Old shed to new shed, will it share any of the old foundation?
No.
Total tear out?
There is no foundation. The old shed also, it's a pole barn type of barn. So but the poles are deteriorating over the years and it's just falling apart.
Is it gonna be on like a concrete slab? The new? pole barn?
Well, later on, I'm planning to put the concrete floor in there,
Okay,
in the shed inside.
inside, okay.
Yeah. But the structure gonna sit on the 6x6 poles.
Are you going to run any electric or plumbing?
Planning to run the electricity there, so for lightening
Mhm.
and as the previous gentleman said, to charge the battery or plug in radio or something like that.
How high will it be?
12 feet,
Oh, okay,
12 feet from the floor to the ceiling.
so it's gonna be higher than 12.
Right now, it's, I believe, right now it's 9.5 or so, because I have a trusses, I have all the paperwork, I ordered the trusses, but it's gonna be straight ceiling and the trusses for the slope on each side, but the previous owner he just have, he built it himself and without any,
Yeah, so it's probably not structurally. Okay, maybe.
No, it's falling down.
Yeah, it's clearly it's not.
it's falling, it's
down.
falling. I have my neighbors here and they saw how badly that one is. Would like to replace it with new.
Do you, so, the door for the pole barn, what is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like a garage door, a man door?
Planning to have, I have a plan here, so it's said, one man door and two overhead doors,
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it
just
gonna
like
be,
regular garage doors.
okay, is it gonna be facing the doors? Is it gonna be facing, Martin Road or more towards your property?
It's gonna be facing west side, it's more towards my property, not to the neighbor property.
Okay,
If I have a map, so we can see it.
okay. If you give it to us, we can't give it back.
We have to keep it, sorry.
Yeah, we have to keep it if it's okay. Thank you.
That's our property.
Mhm.
The house sitting on this property,
And that's,
and that's the separate property.
Yep.
And that's the I marked that it's the old one, staying upwards, something, but this last mark.
Okay. Okay,
Is this what we have?
okay,
Oh, we already have a copy of this.
we do, okay. Yep. Mhm. No windows, There's two. 4 windows, okay. Very cool,
Thank you.
thank you.
Actually, we do need to keep this, okay?
That
Okay.
one, yeah.
The other ones is share.
I think we have.
We don't have this one, do we?
that
No,
one.
we don't have the drawing.
We can keep this. Okay,
Okay,
We're
thank
good.
you. Okay,
Thank
we're
you.
good, thank you.
that looks like it'll be beautiful. Okay, are there any more questions from board members?
Will you be building this yourself?
Yes,
That's-
I work for construction company for Spoleta Construction for many years and doing
Okay.
the
I
maintenance
like
right
to
now.
ask.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions from board members? Are there any questions or comments from members of the audience? Okay, please feel free to come up, but I'll have you have a seat, Mr. Sorry. Deverenko.
Hi, yes, Bill Tilson, 272 Martin Road. We live across from Uri.
Welcome.
Okay,
We've been in that house for 24 years and we've known them since they moved in and they've been good neighbors and he shared his plans with us and we have no concerns. We support him fully in what he wants to do with the property.
Perfect. It'll probably look nice.
yes,
Thank you for your, thank you for your help. Are there any other questions or comments from board member or from members of the audience? Please. And as we said, state your name and address.
My name is Paul Hopkins. I live at 325 Martin Road.
Yes.
So to the east of this. And I'm looking forward to not looking at his old barn anymore. So.
So you're
you guys
welcome.
could do It would be great.
You can
Thank
actually
you.
see right in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You can see right through it. It's just right through it. Yes.
But I thought I heard him say after he knocks it down, he's gonna move all the materials to your place.
I can't believe he would do that. Not Yuri. As long as he doesn't help me to build, ask me to help build the new one, we'll be all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? Well, I'm glad, I appreciate the support from the neighbors. With that, we can close this up.
Anything online?
Oh, Heather, is there still nothing online?
Yep, still nobody except the one applicant, so we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-049 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit of the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The proposed building will replace an existing barn that has deteriorated to unsuitable conditions from age. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The property owner requires the replacement of the structure to maintain current storage of personal property. The variance requested is substantial. The proposed accessory building is 1,200 square feet and does not have a primary residence on the property. The owner's primary residence, however, is directly adjacent to the property in which the proposed accessory building is to be located. The parcel of the proposed accessory building is appropriately sized to receive an agricultural style building. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical environmental conditions. The accessory building is not foreseen to have a negative physical or environmental conditions at this time. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. The proposed accessory building is being constructed on a separate parcel from which the owner resides. And be it further resolved that based on the above findings, that the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. The proposed accessory building shall be located as shown on the attachments included in the application for a variance.
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So the motion carries. Congratulations. Next, we have 2022-050. Michelle Laidlaw, and I'm sure Bill too, right? No, you're fine. Just go. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Bill Laidlaw, and we live at 637 Erie Station Road.
Welcome, Bill. Nice talking to you earlier.
Thank you.
So Bill, please explain to us what you're trying to do, what the goal is.
We've moved into the duplex and made it our retirement home. So she wants a garage. So we're gonna build a garage, hopefully. And it's a funny shaped lot. We got a lot of pie shape to it, and then we lose 20 feet and across the back of the property for utility easement for the school. And so we're asking for everything.
Yeah. And so this will be big enough for one car or two cars?
One car, and then whatever seasonal equipment, whether a tractor or the snow blower, and workshop for myself inside there.
So obviously it'll have, and the other thing that I think you told me earlier is that it's detached from the house by about 3 feet.
Yes, it'll be separated from the house by 3 feet, being a duplex, and it's going to be maintained kept as a duplex. There's some code and things that need to be governed around bedrooms having 2 windows. And if we were to put this against the house, then it would close off the windows to the bedrooms. And so there's a lot more to it than just as simple putting it up.
And again, one of the things we were sort of talking about is, what if we moved it forward or something a little bit, but then we end up with a different variance because now you're breaking the 60-foot offset threshold.
Right.
Well, I'd like to, is there going to be power run to it?
Yes, there will be.
Plumbing?
No plumbing. No.
The power will be used for, I assume, the workshop and lighting
And garage door, yeah.
Will heat or anything go into it?
No heat.
Any questions from other board members?
Is it gonna be, how tall is it gonna be? Is it gonna be 1 story, 2 story with a lot?
We haven't, it's only going to be a single story. It's, what, 8-10 feet in a normal garage is, something like that. We haven't even priced it out because I don't even know what size I can even get around the building yet. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But the goal is to make it similar to the house.
Yes, and to
aesthetically.
keep it the same as, the rest of the neighborhood, rectangular shape. So when you look down the houses, there's the line, the site and everything without bringing it in front of everything. Of the other homes.
So you want 6 inches from the lot line, but you don't know exactly how large you're gonna eventually end up with the structure, or is it?
Well, the property from the foundation of the house to the property line is 18 feet, 6 inches.
Okay,
So it'd be 3 feet for the walkway between the garage and the house, and then 15 feet for the actual width of the garage. And the garage would be the length of the house.
and 18 feet, 6 inches, it's perpendicular to the lot line, not the house. But when the garage is built though, it's gonna be in the same, alignment as the house.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so you'll have a little bit more than 18 feet, 6 inches but not, I can't tell how much.
I scaled it, it's about 20 feet.
It is 20
Straight-
feet.
Straight line from the house foundation, straight to
To the property.
to the
line.
property.
So you'll have a
Yeah.
little bit more than the 18 feet then, but 19 and a half feet, I guess, if that's what.
But
rest-
the end result is he's still only asking for he wants a 15-foot wide. So what is your
Yeah.
point?
So 15 feet wide, you want the 3-foot gap between the house and the structure, so that's 18. So actually, what'll probably end up happening is if you do it to the 15 feet wide, plus the 3 feet for the gap, it's 18, and you said it was a little under 20?
It scales, it's not exact, but
Yeah.
it's pretty close to, it's 20 feet, so you should have about a 2-foot setback.
So you will have a little bit more than 6 inches of.
Well, yeah,
You'll have a little bit of wiggle room to play with.
Well, there's a little wiggle room. We found the property lines, and if you drive by the house, you'll see
There's
a
a
pink
rope
string that runs right down the property line. And so we've been using that. We've been working with Jay, the building inspector, and because we wanted a swimming pool and the 20-foot easement in the back, he's been over the house a few times trying to help us line things up so we can get it straight.
Okay,
So-
but you may end up with more than just 6 inches from the corner of the garage to the lot line when you're done. I mean, you may have a foot and a
Right.
half, and it just
Right.
kind of depends on what you're able to.
And it's only
Put it
that one back corner of the garage that's going to be close to the property line because the angle
Yeah,
of the
the angle.
property
Yeah.
as it goes down the garage gets farther away from the property.
Mhm.
Now you have a big tree in the front yard.
We used to have some big trees in the front yard.
Well, there's still one maybe it's on
That
the easement.
that actually belongs to the school.
So will that be, so that's outside, that's in the easement. That's
No,
not-
that is not, that's just on regular school property,
So it's not your property.
not on our property.
Now, I also noticed there's some big, large branches coming down there. Are those going to be in the way of your building?
No, and the school's been pretty good about it when the branches get to hanging too low and you're having to duck under them when you're mowing. We'll go over and say something to them, and they'll usually send somebody over and trim the branches off for us.
Okay,
So
so there's no concerns there. Are there other questions?
No, I did want to commend you for doing this process here.
thank you.
Are there any questions from members of the audience? I assume nothing virtual, right, Heather?
Correct.
Thank you. So with that, we'll close the application. It's me again. Look at that. So we will close the application. If I can read this, here we go. With regards to application ZBA 2022-050 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following finding of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The applicant has a need for a garage on the property, and the shape of the property has caused this request. The ability to put a vehicle and lawn equipment in the garage will create a cleaner look to the property. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. Again, the shape of the property and location of the house create a difficult situation with regard to placement of the desired garage. Almost every location on the property would require some sort of variance. The variance requested is substantial because it creates almost no offset. However, the need of the applicant is substantial and is not substantial. Is substantial, and the detriment to the community is very limited. Sorry about that. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. And the difficulty related to the variance was not self-created. The variance is an artifact of the property location and shape. So be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now you got to build it.
We gotta
Yeah.
vote on it.
Yeah,
Not
I'll
me.
second.
Oh, wait. We got to vote on it. It's seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So there it is.
Okay, there we go. Now it's official.
It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What is going on with me today? Application 2022-051 for what house? 39 Bradgate Bradgate Park. This one's Zoom, I think.
Good evening, board members. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Great. My name is Potira Sayavon, but everyone calls me Poe for short, like Edgar Allan Poe.
Thank you, Paul.
Yep. I
Welcome.
saw, yeah, my name has 16 letters and I noticed that you paused.
I did. I didn't want to say it very well, so I appreciate the
Yep.
intro. Thank you, Paul.
No problem, no problem. And my home residence is 39 Bradgate, West Henrietta, 14586.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So your application is to add one more parking spot for your mother-in-law?
That's correct. It was to provide history and context at our old house. When my mother-in-law would visit me, she would park right in the middle of the driveway, and it was very frustrating. So about 4 years ago, when we sat down with our builder during the design phase, we had requested a tapered driveway on the work order. In hindsight, I wish at the time my builder had informed me that I needed a variance at that time because the survey map that they gave you did not include that tapered driveway. So when they came back after the closing, when they installed the binder, they included the tapered driveway after the CFC, unfortunately. So the binder has been like that for about 3.5 years now. And I just recently got the top coat on along with 6 or 7 other neighbors recently. So I just wanted to express my interest in tying this loose end that my builder failed to accommodate as a professional courtesy to our family.
So the extended driveway space, has that helped with any safety concerns of where she parks in your driveway?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Any safety concerns now are eliminated now that you have the extra space for her to park in your driveway?
Yes, that's correct.
Does she still park in the middle?
No, she does a good job parking her spot now.
Good. Are there any questions from the board members? Nope. Any questions from members of the audience? We can close the application.
Are there any questions virtually, Heather?
Still nothing. I will pop in if somebody pops in, okay?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, in regards to application ZBA 2022-051 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. Similar homes have an expanded parking area. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. No on-street parking options are available, having adequate parking spaces needed for safety. The variance is not substantial as it is a 4-foot variance. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Christian. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you, board members. Have a great evening.
You
too.
You as well.
Have a good night.
You too.
With that, we would like to do application 2022-052. Welcome.
How are you, board? I'm Brad and I reside at 38 Hollybrook Road. I do have photographs of what we're talking about if you want to see them.
Any photographs you give us, we have to keep.
Great.
Well, then you don't have to carry them back home, right?
Yeah. Work made these for me, so.
Feel free to bring them up and then we'll have you go back to the microphone to. That's fine.
Okay.
We can pass them along.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, you lied to us already. All right.
Yeah.
So who else? I'll pass two of these down. Please explain what we're seeing.
So that is the existing porch there. I played a little game of hokey pokey with the post. So there is
Yep.
one photograph you'll see that has a dark circle with an arrow to it where the post hole already was for it. So that's what I'm requesting the variance for, is for the post to land back in that spot.
So
you're gonna,
go ahead.
so are you gonna keep the size of the top the same and everything? This is
Yeah,
just-
everything is the
This
same.
is just to replace the post.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a overhang there before that I replaced because it had rotted. And it wasn't really feasible to put the posts back where they were, because it would just go back on top of the concrete of the porch that you see there.
Is this overhang the same size as the one that you,
Slightly bigger,
how much bigger?
probably a foot on each side and another foot in the front. I mean, the old porch would have been just about flush with the underneath that you see there.
Okay.
So this roof work that we see here, is that new or is that old?
That's new.
New?
Yeah.
Okay. And you just need to really finish it off. and
Yeah, I gotta get the,
Adjust, okay.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to pour like a new, are you gonna be doing a new like steps and?
I mean, eventually, this house is trying to murder me.
We shouldn't laugh at
I,
that,
yep,
but
I can imagine. Okay,
I mean, all of this stems from. There's a rear addition that was with the house when I purchased it. The seller covered up a tremendous leak that was in the back that I only realized after I had been in there, and obviously couldn't prove that they had covered it up.
Right.
So then I ended up having to redo the rear addition, which then led to ripping off the entire roof, which then
Oh,
led to
no.
me finding that the front porch was rotted, which when I have the whole roof off, I had to redo the front porch and
that's why you're here.
yes, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
This is like the money pit. Okay.
yeah.
ongoing.
Oh,
So are there any more questions from board members?
no.
Are there any questions or comments from members of the audience? Okay. With that, I would like to close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regards to application ZBA 2022-052 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held public hearings, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefits to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings and facts. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the characteristic of the neighborhood. He's replacing the old porch that was there. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the structure has already been built and he's replacing the post to hold the porch. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental condition. It will actually enhance the look of the property in the neighborhood. The difficulty related to this variance was self-created, but is replacing the existing old porch that was there. And be it further resolved that based upon above, man, I can't even talk today.
Good, it's not just me.
Above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Have a good
Enjoy your
evening.
new porch.
Good night.
Look for my GoFundMe.
That's a good one.
I like it too. That's a new one. I haven't heard that. Next is application 2022-053, which is Michael and Dacia Toronto. Welcome. I apologize,
That's
Dacia.
okay. My name's Joe Tersini. Dacia is my daughter, and they're out of town, so I'm here on their behalf.
Thank you, Joe. Could you give me your address?
111 Stover Road. I live in 14624 on Shiloh.
Thank you.
So they're looking to expand the driveway for extra parking spaces, or is
Yes.
there a certain?
Right, we
reason
have 4 drivers in the household,
Mhm.
and both parents work, and one car will be more or less stored because their daughter is going away to school, but she'll be coming back obviously over Christmas and summer, and then her son will be getting his driver's license. We'll have a car also, and so he can now get himself to school. So it's just a lot of it's a matter of timing, who's leaving when. So they're just looking to add that extra space. I believe you do have a photo?
Yep.
Did you give a
Yep.
photo? Okay. All right.
Any questions? I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense. They just want extra
Right,
space.
and the neighbor, from what I understand, the neighbor has no problem. They're staying 5 feet off the property lines, and the neighbor has no problem with it.
Okay, good. I don't have any other questions.
No
So,
questions.
It is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty easy night for this. Are there any questions from members of the audience? Okay, I won't ask her. She told me she'll say it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to face the wrath. With that, we can close this application.
okay. Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-053 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as there are other properties in the neighborhood with expanded driveway widths. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as there is no on-street parking options available. The variance requested is not substantial, as the applicant is requesting a total driveway width that is 3.9 feet wider than what town code allows. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions, as there will be no change to the grade or the property of the property or any trees removed. And the difficulty relating to the variance was self-created, as the applicant desires a wider driveway to accommodate parking needs. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
Seconded by Beth. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
One last thing, my son-in-law said he submitted a what's it called, a drive, what's it called, a thumb drive.
Oh.
But I heard you earlier say anything that's given to you, you have to keep. So I didn't know.
So when they give a thumb drive typically to the office,
Mhm.
The people taking the application, they'll put that information onto our computers, on our screens here, and that's what we look at.
Okay,
But if someone brings in additional pictures, we have to keep it. So-
okay,
Yeah.
so,
So are you asking if you get the thumb drive back?
right.
Heather, do you have an answer for that, or is that something that
They do not. Unfortunately, it's part of the file now.
thumb
Okay.
drive's gone?
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have
Was
a
there anything
wonderful
else
evening.
on, was there anything else on the thumb drive that you need to know, that you have back, or is it?
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
is there any way we can
either
see?
way,
Yeah.
we'll have her deal with that if he has. more
Okay,
questions.
yeah, because I mean, if there's any other information, we can maybe get you a copy of it back. Well, we have to keep the thumb drive though, but. There's any
Yeah,
other-
if there's stuff that's on there that they need off of it, if they give me a call when they get back in town, I can take a look and see where we have it in the file and if we can get like a copy of those files over or something. Shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay, All right,
Thank you.
All right.
Have a wonderful evening.
have a good night.
Next is Susan Novello, application 2022-054. And what is the address? 215 Volmer. You do not look like a Susan.
I am not. I am Eric Weisenberg, 133 Garden Parkway, speaking on behalf of Susan at 215 Vollmer Parkway.
Welcome.
Thank you. We're looking to do a 12 by 16 shed in the backyard. There is none there. It's going to go basically on blocks, no plumbing, no electric. 4x4 skids, 2x6 joists, 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood, 2x4 walls, 7-foot tall gambrel metal roof to afford a little bit more storage up top. I know there was a height issue or questions earlier. I don't know the exact height, but I can't imagine it more than 13 feet.
And that's all just pitch from the roof.
Right. It's whatever
versus
that gambrel will allow with a 7-foot wall.
And great. Who has this? one?
That's me.
This is Heather.
I like that you've been paying attention,
Yeah.
answering what our normal questions are. I appreciate it.
I agree with her.
Does Susan own the home?
She does.
Okay, and you guys are renting or have an
Who's the
agreement?
contractor?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
What was the question? I didn't hear. No.
She
okay.
asked if you were renting, but she said you're the contractor.
I'm the contractor and her boyfriend.
Oh,
So-
double duty.
Yes. So
Very cool. Okay. Is there gonna be siding on?
it's going to be smart siding, so it's paintable, which will get painted. So the metal roof's going to be charcoal, and we're going to match the house in white.
Okay. For the doors, is it gonna just be like a man door?
Double doors on the one end,
Okay.
on the north facing end, 2 windows on the house facing side, and they're going to be just like, barn doors, 6-foot span.
What do you guys plan on, or what does she plan on storing in there?
My stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's a 1-car
Motorcycle.
garage with the addition off the rear of the house that was done before she bought the house. There's no way to expand that garage because it's behind the garage and it's too close to the easement to make the garage a 1-car garage any larger. And between the snow blower, lawnmower, my tools, lumber and stuff like that, and probably about 20 bales of blown-in insulation that we haven't put in the attic yet. It's just taking up all the space in there, and we just want to be able to utilize stuff in the back.
Okay.
So,
Will that size fit your needs with all the stuff you're putting in there?
yes, I will make it work. I've made the garage work so far. So, yeah, no car can get in there, but
Okay.
Is it a single car garage right there now?
currently, yes.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, no further questions.
Any other questions from board members? The standard question, any questions from people in the audience? Okay. With that,
Okay.
we can close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-054 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefits to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as other homes in the area have similar sized sheds to what the applicant is asking for. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The variance requested is substantial as the applicant is asking for double the allowed variance. However, the size of the shed will fulfill the applicant's needs. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created as the applicant is in need of additional storage. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Harrington. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Yep,
Thank you.
enjoy.
Next, we have application 2022-055 by Laramie Gavin. And I hope I said that right. Good. I've goofed up a lot tonight. You've heard it. It's
My name
trying.
is Laramie Gavin. I live at 50 Audubon Street in the city. My parents' house at 16 Dade Parkway.
Welcome.
Thank you. So my folks are moving up here. I have 2 young kids and they're finally going to make the move up and they're downsizing. They found this house. It has a 1-car garage that's not usable. So we thought about building a 2-car garage in front. And as we talked about it, putting their 2 cars in, then we got to the lawnmowers, the snow blower. My dad likes to work on stuff, so he's a bit of a tinkerer. I was like, if we just extended this piece down the side, it makes a nice little workspace in the back. Also, then it's on the first floor, so not putting like a shed in the back. It's all accessible right out of the house. Easier for them. So it's the variance.
Are they moving up from somewhere warm?
St. Louis.
Oh,
So
not that bad.
yeah, the snow's gonna be interesting, but yeah.
So obviously the variance is, it's significant. Based on, right, so this is also on a short street with limited number of other houses, maybe it's 4 or 5. In your opinion, does it fit in with the look of the rest of the neighborhood?
I think all those houses look different there. Some are like raised. This is like a single story ranch. Some are up the hill. I don't think it doesn't fit in. I think the request actually makes the house look nicer. The house is like a long, narrow side to it with a pitched roof. And then the kitchen and the existing garage are like a flat shed roof and it just looks unfinished. This would make it look very uniform, I think, and much more appealing from the street.
And the side of the proposed garage that faces the street, what will that perspective look like?
Facing the street, it'll be just a mirror image of the living quarters side. They're like a match. It's that length next to the neighbor. The yard kind of goes out at a triangle and this goes out like as that goes away.
So it'll be symmetrical,
Mhm.
I'm gonna call it the left and right side of the house.
Yeah.
With an open
Like
walkway or
little
something.
8'9" or something in the middle.
Yeah, because that's the front porch.
Yeah. But the roof pitches will be similar left and right when you're looking at it from the street.
Correct.
And is the size the same?
So the living side of it, so if you're looking square on the right side's the living side with the small windows there, is 26'4". We're looking at 24 wide for the garage. Didn't think it needed to be any wider than that. And it's still,
That's a good sized garage.
yeah, it's still 15 feet off the property line there, which we were cognizant of.
And the depth of the garage is really. The request is really because of the, again, I think you called it a workspace.
In the back, yeah. And also like the way we're looking at doing the roof, here we can run it all the way back to the back end of the house. If we built the thing in front, we'd be running a pitched roof to the current flat roof. And it would just be kind of odd.
Yeah.
This gives us the ability to match both sides all the way down.
Okay.
You're gonna open it up from the old garage to the piece along the side there to the new garage? Is that gonna be all open or is that?
Like looking straight, like tandem, like looking straight back. I think that'd be open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the old garage, obviously I have to close that off and that can't.
Feedback from the neighbors on this proposed change?
I met with the neighbor who we share the property line, walked it all out with him. He was totally on board.
Has the contractor indicated to you that they can at least come close to matching the existing siding of the house?
I'm sort of the contractor, I guess.
Okay, that's fine.
I already have sourced it. I know where to buy it. The house was cited only 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay, so it should be
And the
pretty
people,
easy.
yeah, and the previous owners, I worked with one of them, so we have a great relationship. They've given me all the information on all the stuff, so we can match it.
For the driveway, is it gonna flare out to be one?
It'll have to, yeah, I didn't think about that. Good call. It has to on the one side, and then between like that 8 foot in the middle, it's gonna have to get paved up, obviously around the front of it. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that.
Depending on the size of that, you may have to come back in front of us, depending on it.
Okay, it's probably, it looks minimal though, right? Like where it's drawn, you can see it on the survey, and then it has to go off the side a little bit. It wouldn't be a double wide all the way, single as far as it can go, and then just a little move over to the side.
Okay.
So since you have the space, have you guys thought about different shapes of the garage to make it not so deep?
Like what was your thought?
I mean, just making it shallower and then wider, more of like a 3-car garage versus.
I didn't go wider. I didn't want to get closer to the property line. Just want to try and be respectful of that. Like I said, as we drew it first my parents were like, let's do something in the backyard. I'm like, I don't want to do anything in the backyard. I don't want to drive around the house. I don't want to put a shed back there. Like, I don't want them. We got them a single story house for a reason. Like, I want them to like just be able to do stuff right here. So we drew it as the garage in front. So this is awesome. We could build a 2-car garage right up in front, and then there's this wasted space behind it. I was like, but if we did this, we could like make a spot where you can just go right in, walk back, do your stuff, put a lawnmower in there, whatever, and just have a space to do little work stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hadn't thought too much.
You said the garage is going to be 24 feet wide.
I think so.
Do you, and you may not know the answer to this question, do you anticipate needing a variance for a wider driveway than what you're allowed? I don't know what the current width is allowed.
Yeah, he said he didn't think, he didn't.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten that far, to be
He hadn't
honest.
gotten that far yet.
Okay.
I mean, I know like looking at the survey, like where it comes up here, I could see it going up. It's such a deep lot too. Like there's so much driveway before you ever get to anything.
Mhm.
Like I could see it coming up and just doing a little jog right there, because that won't be with that wide. It shouldn't be hard to maneuver a car.
When they come in for the building permit, we can go over what is allowed by code for driveways.
Okay.
I think, like you said, how deep you are off the road, I don't see any issues. As long as you maintain 5 feet from the property line.
We're like 15 feet from the
Right.
property line
I mean,
there.
if you look at the survey at the road, your driveway actually goes over.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
It's pre-existing condition, but.
Yeah, because there's like when the neighbor and I went out and I was talking about it, and I was like, we stayed so far off, here's where we've gone. There's like a telephone pole back there in the corner, and we were like, that's kind of where the line goes. You kind of see it's where they mow at least, and then so I figure that's
So that may or may not be the official line, but it's close.
it's the mowed line, isn't
Right.
that means something, right?
The mode line. So are there any more questions here?
No, not for me.
Is there any discussion needed on this one? Because I know there was a little question in the beginning, but it feels. No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, so with that, I would like to close this application.
Anybody to speak for or against this?
You're right. Anybody in the audience want to speak or have any comments or questions? I'm looking at you because I think you're all of those two. We're good. Okay, with that, I'd like to close the application.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-055 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing. 2, has considered all relevant information. 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. Number 1, the variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The parcel and the driveway are long and the house set back far. This new garage will fit the footprint of the parcel and look intentional. 2, the variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative because parents moving in, children, and a preference to have a garage instead of outbuilding shed, this much space is necessary. 3, the variance requested is substantial, but serves the needs of the homeowners as support of the neighbors and will look appropriate. 4, the variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. 5, the difficulty related to the variance was self-created, but a growing family has growing needs for space and storage. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
Second.
Oh, we got a threesome.
Seconded by Beth. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Opposed.
the motion carries. Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, before we move forward, just let you know that Ms. Voss's microphone is not working suddenly. So unfortunately, she can't speak to us.
Well, that's probably good for her. Thank you.
Okay.
That's funny. 2020, application 2022-056, Michael Finlayson. Welcome. And this is for 49 Calver Court.
Correct. Mike Finlayson, homeowner at 49 Calver Court.
Glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Tell us what you're doing.
So the request is for a shed. We currently have I think it's an 8 by 10
vinyl shed, which is it's falling apart. It's about 11 years old or so, and it's will probably be down by itself by next summer. And the space in there has just not been sufficient for the storage that we need. So given that we have to replace it, we would like to upgrade size wise so that we can, actually meet our storage needs with the new shed.
Sure. Aaron, do you want to take lead?
Yeah. One question I do have for you is I notice, the shed is going to be pretty well screened by a fence and trees from the road. Do you anticipate having to do either cut branches or remove any trees for the shed?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Any utilities, electric, plumbing that you'll run to the shed?
Nope, no electric, no water, just straight storage.
And will you be setting this on wood flooring, concrete pad?
It's wood flooring. It'll be on a bed of crushed stone. The current one that's got crushed stone under it. We're just going to expand out the base to accommodate the larger footprint.
Great.
And it is the one that you checked on so it's 12 by 16.
12 by 16, yes.
Do you know the height?
It's it's a standard it's 8 foot, maybe 8 foot walls, I think, and then whatever the peak for the roof is.
Do you know what color the outside is gonna be? Is it gonna match your house as much as possible?
Yeah, it'll be close. Our house is a tan, like a beige.
Okay.
So the shed will be, either tan or a gray, something, very neutral, very, close in color.
Will you be assembling it yourself? It looks like it's a kit.
No, we're gonna get it pre-built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Is this size gonna meet your needs? 'Cause I know you said you have an 8 by 10 now.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think it's legit on my bucket list to someday be able to park one car in a 2-car garage, and I think this will get me a lot closer to that.
Yeah. Okay.
It is nice to keep it out of the rain.
For the winter time especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snow too. Are there any other questions from board members?
No.
Any other question from the remaining member of the audience? No, okay, so we got a thumbs up. With that, we can close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2022-056 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. Variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. The proposed shed materials and form are consistent with other sheds in the neighborhood. Shed location is screened from the street by an existing fence and vegetation. The variance cannot be achieved by some other alternative or some other feasible alternative. Alternative storage options are limited, with the property being a corner lot. The variance requested is substantial. It is substantial in that the proposed shed is 72 additional square feet more than the allowed by current zoning law. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. The proposed shed is not foreseen to impact physical or environmental conditions at this time. No existing vegetation is required to be removed. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. The property owner has acquired more personal property than can be currently stored within the existing storage on the property. And be it further resolved that based on the above findings, that the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. The proposed shed shall be limited to the location as shown on the instrument survey on the application.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Enjoy
you
your
very
new shed,
much.
and good luck. I hope you can fit the car in the garage.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have application 2022-057. Need done. Close.
Yes, my name is Nhi Dang. I
Nhi
live in 207 Mall Road.
Welcome. Beth, you want to take the lead on this?
So the driveway that you have, is it existing to the home that was there before?
Yes,
So you're just asking to expand the size of the driveway?
yes.
You indicated that you had several vehicles. How many vehicles are at this location?
We got 5 vehicles.
5 vehicles. And all 5 are gonna fit on the driveway if you have that
I
expanded?
got 2 of this back and forth, not the white side.
Okay. No on-street parking, obviously, for
Right.
that road.
No.
Would you say that that's a pretty busy road of traffic?
Correct.
So the need for the expanded parking is more of a safety feature in addition to parking space?
Yep. Just, I got a map right here and it's little more detail. for you.
Okay.
Is it different than the one you submitted already?
This one from the end of my driveway, it's 24 foot wide,
Yes.
and from the middle of the road, is yellow line, in the 25 foot, and then from there start opening up the 30 foot.
So the 24 feet cannot go past the right of way. Okay, actually, I'll have you go for the microphone. I'll have you go back.
Sorry.
The 24 feet wide cannot go past into the right of way.
Now, from the road, the end of my driveway to the road, the 24 foot wide. And from the yellow line on the middle road, all the way into 25 foot, and then I start open up on that way.
Kevin, do you know, does that put him in the right of way?
I'm measuring the right of way right now and it's right at the right of way line, he's probably just over 25 foot in width, but it or maybe a foot. So it's a little bit over, but it does slant back towards the road.
Will we get any troubles from highway?
Well, maybe up to Tim. Again, it's way, it appears that it's going to be maybe 25 foot at the right of way and then within a foot or 2 feet towards more road.
It's
it'll be
back to
down
24.
to 24. According to the survey that I'm looking at, I assume that this is correct. This is after the house was rebuilt, I should say.
Is this
Yeah,
survey
May of
accurate?
22.
Is the survey accurate to what you have built?
Bill?
We have a survey that was supplied to us.
This was when the house was rebuilt, this
A few.
May
a
of
year-
22. So this is a new driveway. This is the driveway that's out there now. I don't believe he has expanded since May of what this is.
Okay, so he's asking for more than what we have here today.
Well, he's asked,
I can't see the length of the driveway.
I
but
mean,
It looks like
we
it's
measure
24.
right now, no, he's got 30,
31. To the right of way.
he's asking for
No.
30 foot wide.
Yeah,
I'm scaling this at around 30. Oh, I apologize. 30, yeah, it's about 28 feet
Yeah.
from when I'm scaling it. So I'm not sure where the 30 might be right up by the house.
Okay.
Close, it's a little bit wider at the house. About 29, almost 30 feet at the house.
okay.
So the variance is for just the driveway forward, house side of the right of way. The right of way itself, he's a little bit over. Again, very little within,
Do you think we'll have an issue?
I don't know if Tim Lessing has reviewed this or not.
Okay.
But right now, we're not doing a variance for that.
We're only doing.
If Tim says no, then he'd have to come back and request a variance for the right of way. If Tim's okay with it, it's really up to him.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason we're asking this, usually on a driveway, there's the potential for 2 variances. One of them is what you're asking for, 30 feet wide up by the house, down, enough to park. But then where the other variance potentially is required is in once your driveway hits the right of way. So the right of way, I don't know where that stands compared to the center of the street. You're implying it's 25 feet. I don't know if that's accurate or not. To be honest, I don't know that we can tell from the picture.
That's a 24 foot.
I think at the road, it's less than 24. I can't, it doesn't
No,
show,
he said 24 from the center measurement of the center of the road, the yellow lines.
The yellow line in the
It is
25.
25 feet from the yellow lines to where it is 24 feet wide is what he's asking, or more than 24 feet wide.
Because the dash line is
yeah.
a
It's a
sanitary.
60-foot right of way, so 30 from center line, 30 feet in is the right of way towards the house.
So he's off by 5 feet if his measurement is, if
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not sure,
understanding.
I guess I'm not understanding what when he's saying 25 feet.
I think he measured 25 feet from, towards the house from the center lines of the street, which is 5 feet less than it needs to be,
Okay,
if I heard you correctly. Either way, that's something that I guess is up in the
we'll
air.
look at, I mean, right now, obviously you're voting on the 30-foot driveway.
Yep.
We will look at the right of way and I'll talk to Tim Lessing.
Are there any questions about the driveway that were,
I had a question. So there's a little bit of a driveway extension on to the left of the garage. Is that something that? I know we sometimes get variances for that.
for more than a foot past the side or?
So that part of code is gone, the wider,
Oh,
wider
okay.
than the garage.
So we don't have to worry about that one.
I see, yeah, that would be, I guess you could consider that a driveway extension. It's not deep enough to be,
You can't, yeah.
there's no dimension. There's no depth dimension on
An
driveway extension. Yeah, depth dimension of the extension.
So they're not calling it
Required.
that either way.
Okay, I was just curious about that.
Do we have any more? Oh, go ahead.
So just to clarify, are we, from what is there now, they're looking to getting it even more wider than what they show on the.
So please clarify that. What you have in place today is what you're asking for, or are you asking for it to be bigger?
That's what I got it right now. I don't add more bigger. That's what I got.
Okay.
What is that? So what it is?
From my
what-
old house,
Okay.
the house catching fire from from about 5-6 years ago, it's my right way. Now I just replay and I'm not open bigger
Okay.
like before, like 7 years ago.
So you're good, Heather?
Yeah, I'm good.
If there's no more questions, we can, and I assume there's nobody in the audience still. Okay. Heather, do you want to close this application or give you a minute?
Beth?
Beth, I was gonna say.
Heather was what I was saying. Beth, see what I'm talking about today is a problem.
No, we think of. Mr. Chairman, in regards to application ZBA 2022-057 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. Similar homes have expanded parking areas. As the length of driveway is short, the variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The lack of on-street parking forces need for on-property parking on a busy road. The variance is not substantial as this is the same size that was existing. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I hope you have a nice
Good evening,
evening.
sir.
And with that, at 8:15, we can close the board meeting. No ice cream. Sorry, Heather, we tried if you're even still here.
So I forgot to tell you, the caveat is that you guys now owe me ice cream.
Oh, fair enough.
Reed's ice cream is like a mile away.
That reads.
It's not Reed's.
Yeah.